Hey everyone, it's Jack from WhatCulture.com and I'm here at the Bowlers Exhibition Centre, or BEC Arena, never sure which one to call it, for a special on-the-road edition of Fast Count. Wow, tired, mentally and physically tired, but that doesn't stop the news, does it? No, it doesn't. It doesn't stop the news. Let's get right into it with all of the news from all the various facets of wrestling this week with the Fast Count. Let's go. First, let's start things off with all of this week's WWE news. Now, our first news story is more kind of actually UFC news, really, because it concerns the UFC light heavyweight champion Jon Jones and the fact that, well, I say that, he may be stripped of it soon because Jon Jones has tested positive for banned substances following his fight with Daniel Cormier. Now, of course, this links in heavily to WWE. I can see a lorry approaching and it's turning. There it is! Let's go! Jon Jones is... Cheers, pal. Tested positive for banned substances. He's not turning, is he? For Brock Lesnar. Jon Jones called out Brock Lesnar in the aftermath of that fight, and Lesnar said, yeah, I'm good to go whenever, which of course threw everyone's idea of Brock Lesnar's WWE status into doubt. Will Lesnar stay? Will he go? Of course, Lesnar then won his match at SummerSlam, which means he is staying for the time being at least. Sorry about that. Basically, to wrap up that point, Lesnar may well be staying now because, of course, that fight with Jones can't happen if this ban holds up. He will apparently be banned for years, plural. So, fans of Brock Lesnar, it's looking up. Then again, he could just take another fight for UFC for loads and loads of money. Who knows what's going to happen. Next up, some actual wrestling news now featuring an actual wrestler, or two, should I say, Rusev and Lana. Last night, as we were leaving the show, news trickled through to our van on our phones and everyone was saying, Rusev and Lana have requested their releases from WWE. That turns out now to have been a rumour since Lana went online on social media and said these rumours are false. However, I think the pertinent thing here is that it was very, very believable indeed. Lana has kind of been treated badly in terms of booking in WWE for a long while now. She had that kind of very short, failed push as a wrestler on SmackDown in that feud with Naomi. Rusev, we all know the story with Rusev. At SummerSlam, he lost to Randy Orton in a matter of seconds. A very disappointing result for fans of Rusev. Sorry, King Ross. So as far as we know now, the rumour of Rusev and Lana requesting their release was an untrue one. However, I think the important thing to note here is that it was very believable indeed, and hopefully it encourages WWE to treat Rusev and Lana a little bit better, especially Rusev. He's such a talented heel and a great wrestler as well. And finally, news, just kind of quick fire, 3 pieces of news about various returns and debuts and movers and shakers in WWE. Basically, Bobby Roode made his SmackDown debut on Tuesday night and he took on Aiden English, which I found quite curious as Aiden English is a heel and Bobby Roode is also a heel. Elsewhere on the show, Shelton Benjamin was announced as the new tag partner of Chad Gable. A lot of people unsure about that. Would have quite liked to have seen Shelton as a single star. I think certainly that's a point that I would agree with. And finally, Enzo Amore has moved down to 205 Live. He called out Neville at the end of this week's 205 Live, and Neville just didn't seem to take him very seriously at all. He seemed amused almost, or annoyed by Enzo's presence. And now it's time for all the news. Get excited, come on! It's Pachi behind it. Get excited! Say something, send it to you. Adam, come on, please, say a thing. All the news, yeah, that was it, from elsewhere in the wacky world of pro wrestling. Lucha Underground have secured a deal with D Sports, which, according to Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer newsletter team, I guess, I don't know if you consulted them, but according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, that means that Lucha Underground are doing better in terms of international expansion than New Japan, AAA, and various other bigger promotions, I guess, because of this Indian TV deal. What do you think about that? Let us know, and let us know all the points in the comment section below, but let's carry on with the rest of the news from elsewhere. Sticking with Lucha Underground briefly, there has been a big potential heel turn, I guess it was a heel turn, on the weekly edition of their TV show. Prince Puma defeated Pentagon in the final of the Cueto Cup, and afterwards celebrated with not only Dario Cueto, the heel authority figure of Lucha Underground, but also Vampiro, Pentagon's old manager and colour commentator at Lucha, a big kind of shadowy evil figure now in Lucha Underground, really, Vampiro. I don't know really how this has happened because I've been not hanging about with, but I've been in the same venues as both Pentagon and Prince Puma all week, and they've not really mentioned it at all. Don't understand. And finally, let's take a little trip to Global Force Wrestling, Impact Wrestling. Loki, who only re-debuted for the company this year, has already left. Loki had a short stint, I believe, as X Division champion before losing the belt to Sonjay Dutt during their tapings in India to an understandably raucous pop from the local crowd. And yes, Loki is on his way out of TNA, a very short kind of stay, and there's no news yet on what he's going to do next, whether he's going to go to another promotion like Ring of Honor or something, he's obviously wrestled there before, or whether he's just going to kind of move on to the independent scene in general. And finally, it is time for my Wrestler of the Week. My Wrestler of the Week this week, now I don't usually like to focus on WCPW, I like to give a big view of all wrestling, WWE, Indies and everything, but this week I have to give it to a guy who's wrestled for WCPW this week, and that is Jay Lethal. The reason for giving Lethal Wrestler of the Week, if you've watched any of our shows this week, is that at Stacked, Lethal wrestled in 2 matches, almost back-to-back matches. They were certainly very close on the card. First of all, he had a very fast and furious triple threat elimination match with Drake and Angelico, and then because Jay Briscoe sadly wasn't able to compete, he stepped in as his replacement alongside Mark Briscoe for one hell of a tag match against War Machine. Then last night at the time of recording, Lethal had a fantastic match with Zack Sabre Jr. in the round of 16 of our Pro Wrestling World Cup qualifiers. If you haven't seen that yet, definitely check it out. I won't say the finish here, but it was a wonderful match, and it wasn't the sort of match that usually pops a live crowd a lot. There was some high-flying stuff, I guess, but it was all really solid wrestling, a lot of submissions, groundwork, and just spot-on technical action from 2 of the best wrestlers in the world today. Jay Lethal, without a shadow of a doubt, is my Wrestler of the Week. So that's all for this week on the Fast Count. Thank you very much for watching. As always, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section down below. I've been Jack from WhatCulture.com. Adam Piccini behind the camera.
Alright.
And I think probably Richard Tubman on the edit, but I'm not certain about that. Thanks to whoever edits this, and we'll see all of you very soon.
Hello, I am Adam Pacitti, and I am fun. To prove how fun I am, I'm going to ask you a wrestling-based trivia question. Are you ready? Good. The DDT became famous for being the finishing move of which wrestler? The answer is Jake the Snake Roberts. That was fun. For more fun, buy the What Culture Wrestling trivia game, available now at shop.whatculture.com.